Welcome back to our special discussion. Yogi ji, you wanted to say something on especially dairy products.
You see, dairy products are a very essential part of your diet for two reasons primarily. You see, because what they're discussing is a purely a scientific angle. I am not competent to comment on that. What I'm talking about is the energy point of view, which goes maybe 5,000 years before the modern scientific angle came, maybe 5,000 years before. So what you must understand, what we do is, when you look at a diet, we look at the color of the food. Now every color, I'm just going a little off, maybe it's a little complicated to make you understand what I'm trying to say. Every color has specific properties. That's what we follow in Ayurveda also. Every color has specific properties. Now white has most of the colors inside it. Light yellow, which is the color of pure cow ghee, has got rejuvenating properties. It rejuvenates the body. And especially things which are green in color, they cleanse the body. Lighter the color goes, the subtler the cleansing. The heavier the color in green, the heavier the cleansing. If you eat something, let us say, which is, I would say like ghee, got a very light color. So it will keep your body very light throughout. Why I was disagreeing with the lady was, because when you eat too much, with these kind of diets, you will not get filled up if there is no ghee in it. There will be no filling up of the system. So you tend to eat more. Now, what basically I'm trying to say is that when you eat more, the body needs more energy to digest that. More energy to throw it out of the system as the fiber. Even excess fiber is not recommended. Fiber also has to be limited in scope. So when you keep on stuffing yourself, science says every action is equal and opposite reaction. So what I'm saying is, if every action does have an equal and opposite reaction, and then if you are creating energy and you're eating more, opposite reaction obviously has to be toxins. So what is recommended is, go as per the color of the food, have a food plate which is full of all kind of colors, and you will remain healthy throughout. Don't, like, I'll say heavy color like red meat. It looks dirty red. That is the color of disease, because what we do is, we clairvoyantly see what is the need, what color is required in this specific kind of a body. So we give food as per that. So this is the color required in this kind of a body. So body remains healthy. No, we don't differentiate, you don't eat this or you eat that. We say eat everything, because yoga sets you free. Yoga doesn't tie you to any specific diet, religion or culture. It says it sets you free. So have a plate full of all kind of colors. It looks nice also, it will be healthy for you also, you won't eat much and you will remain disease free.
Alright, now talking about illnesses, Shalini, it is stated, in fact I was reading most of these reports, that those who are vegans normally shy away from actually going to doctors and telling them that they are not well. They believe that if they go to the doctor and say that they are not well, other people will scoff at them, or they'll make fun that you are vegan, you should have, now with all these diseases that you can cure yourself and all, so on and so forth.
Yes.
And many of them have actually lost their lives because of that.
Okay.
Why do they do that? I mean, now it actually really makes no sense than being vegan.
Yes.
And then run and not going to the
typically,
doctor.
if someone's doing it because it's a fad and they think they can change their lifestyle by adopting something which they've just heard of, then something like that would happen.
I'll give you another example. I was just reading this in America. Many families, the man and wife, have been booked for murder and manslaughter because their babies were kept on soya milk and apple juice. And many of them have been booked for murder and manslaughter. So this is like going to the extreme.
Extreme end, yes. Yeah, and anything in extreme is completely incorrect. Everything needs to be done in moderation. And it's completely senseless.
So what would you say as
soya milk itself is a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous product, soya milk.
And
it's not recommended to have it.
But soya is used as a protein supplement for those people who don't have meat.
You see, soya is a very dangerous product. All bodies can't digest soya. It is not easy to digest soya.
Okay, I will add something to this. Let us talk about two flow charts, two kind of flow charts. Okay, one is the old world, I mean like ages, and right now with the modern world. Okay, when we speak about the old world, let us come with the normal agriculture foodstuffs. Okay, they were not using a lot of pesticides and everything. Okay, and the farmer was working a lot. Energy expenditure was high in rate. Okay, and whatever food that he used to eat used to get digested very easily, and the person used to live till 90 years, 100, 102. There are more. Okay, this is an old example, and when you speak about the pollution, and the population was also less. So there was enough space for breathing. Okay. And right now in modern world, what all things are there as a what do you call it? I mean, like hurdles, okay, stress. The next one is the job that you got, and next one is the money that you have, and the last one comes for the food, which has to be in the first
You
line.
didn't mention that. Yeah, all these points are actually creating
Okay.
havoc in our lives.
Which has to be in the first way. So people have put the lifestyle thing in the last. They are looking only how to look better, but they don't know how to look what exactly is happening inside their body. Okay. To say this, as sir was telling that about the epigenetics, which is the modern one. More than epigenetics, which is something new, is called nutrigenomics, which has not been introduced in India. What I would like to say, and I'm a genetic counselor as well as, okay. What I would recommend is mix your genetics and your nutrition thing, and give a nutrigenomics, which helps to form a very better life for a person.
How do you do that?
How do we do that? Yeah. See, a baby is born now, okay. We take a sample, okay. Earlier they used to do DNA samples, they used to take blood, and they used to take cerebrospinal fluid and everything. But right now it's become very easy. They used to take, I mean, like right now we can take DNA out of your saliva, okay. And using that, you find out the various parameters in the genetics.
Right.
What are those things? Like your vitamin requirement, your mineral requirement, your fat storage and deposition, everything will become in a report. Everything will come under a report, which can be a, I mean, like a horoscope
But
for
this is
your
a
complete
very
life.
costly
No,
affair.
no,
Not everybody
No,
will
not
be able
exactly.
to do
It's
this.
a low cost thing. There's
It's a
a
very
company
low
in
cost
America
thing.
called 23andMe. You just spit into a tube and send it, and they will give you a gene map. But the problem is, my dear friend, genome is not a map. It changes every day.
Yeah.
Their expressions change every day. You may be genetically vulnerable. If you eat right food, those genes will be switched off.
I will tell you
If
something.
no, let me. I'll tell you. So there's a whole problem of genome mapping is a little bit of a complex thing. You see, because we have paid too much attention to DNA, is itself a DNA dogma, DNA doctrine. Now what we say is everything is not in the gene. Only 2% of the diseases are directly connectable to genes, single gene defect, like cystic fibrosis, hemophilia. All the lifestyle diseases are multi-gene factorial. There is no single gene, multiple genes. But on the other hand, I also need to bring in a little bit of cultural angle to this
Okay, I would like
veganism.
to say in
See,
this,
for example, Dalai Lama was once asked, "What are you? Are you a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian?" He said, "I am neither a non-vegetarian nor a vegetarian." It was beautiful.
Moderation.
You see, Bertrand Russell said very beautifully, over an issue, whether a god forbids beef or pork, million human heads have been slaughtered. Man is a very sensitive animal when it comes to this culture. And there is also, a lot of us, we take a great pride, what they call as arrogance in abstinence. So, I don't even eat garlic. I don't even touch this. I'm so pure. I don't even eat outside. I don't even eat in anybody's house. A great arrogance. That is the disease. That is worse than eating anything. And on the other hand, you see what happened in Haryana 3 years back. Few Dalits were skinning a dead cow and they were slaughtered. They said, holy cow is far superior, far important to us than these people who are trying to eat a skin and eat a dead cow. A dead cow is more important to us than Dalits. See, food
So
is not
basically what you're trying to say
food
is
is not
eat anything in
biochemical.
moderation.
It is cultural, it is sociological, it is religious. See, there is multiple angle. You look at it, the halal
He needs a
system.
lecture on cows.
You have a
What a cow is all
you have
about.
a kosher.
He needs a lecture on cows.
You have a kosher.
What a cow is all
you have
about.
number of
That's speaking a little
systems in the
too
world.
much. Speaking a little too much.
All right, because I was just reading one more research I want to talk about. The countries where the average life expectancy is actually really high, and most of these nations are coastal places. You talk about Monaco, Macau, Japan, Singapore, and you also have Ikaria. They're all coastal places, and fish is their primary
Standing diet.
diet.
See,
But there
70%.
is one more place you've missed out, that is the northwest frontier in Pakistan. There are these tribals who live more than 100 years. They are on diet of dried these apricots. So it is not only fish, but there are other foods also which can provide you with. But you can go ahead with
I
the
say,
fish.
no, you are right. See,
Yeah.
in
Fish is
Japan,
not to be eaten.
in
Fish
Japan,
has got
a lady was
extreme
living
quantities of mercury and arsenic inside it.
There was a
all over the West, they're
That's
reducing the
that was because
consumption
of
now.
industrial pollution, minimata disease. That's a different issue.
But then
See, there was a
It's
Japanese
filled
lady.
with arsenic and mercury.
There was a
Filled with
Japanese
it.
lady who lived 115 recently. She was asked, "How did you live so long?" She said, "If I get pork, I will live much longer."
It's an exception. A state of mind, exception.
No, that's a
But then
reality
this,
that she's
It's an
alive.
exception. Out of maybe 1 million people, 1% can say that. I think it's an
The
exception.
Japanese are the
Let's be gentle, not be
Japanese
exceptional.
have the highest life expectancy in the world, 89 years. They are
Yes,
the
I have
highest
the
consumers.
record over here.
They
Japanese,
are,
you know, sir, they
they
don't-
are
they don't
the
eat
highest
sugar.
consumers of pork.
Japanese don't eat
We
sugar.
need to look at
Japanese
this.
don't eat sugar.
No,
And I would-
it's not.
I would
I
add
told
something
in the
like this.
beginning.
Japanese
They
don't
have
eat
the
sugar.
highest
I
energy
mentioned it.
No,
expenditure
is it-
also on
is it
that.
just
They
not-
don't eat sugar.
Well, is it just
Whatever,
not their
but
food,
they
but
have
also
a
their
high
lifestyle
energy
things
expenditure.
they
It
do?
is.
What?
It is not only
I mean,
the
like,
lifestyle. It is
whatever
also
they
the
eat
medical
extra,
support
they
and the
spend
welfare
that
that the
by
government
doing
is
the
giving
physical
them.
activity.
You know,
Very, very
these
good
countries are
self-activity.
developed.
All right. No, so when we're talking about these things, we're talking about not few people, we're talking about an entire nation.
Absolutely, in the
We're
world.
talking about
I would like to add something. See, in all over the world, no, they take 660 pounds of water to grow a chicken, okay, and they take 220 pounds of water to grow a like a vegetarian, a plant, okay. What then? People eat chicken. Why? Because there is a scarcity of water too.
No, you see,
Now-
there again, what happens? You can blame the intensive factory farming. But if you have a chicken behind your backyard, and if the kitchen waste goes to chicken, it is ecologically sound.
Exactly.
Then it's
See, we'll have to contextualize the whole
you
thing. You
must-
can't generalize and talk like
Only
And also
veganism
comparing
cannot
to
be
countries,
promoted.
yeah.
There
The
are
way-
many other issues that should be promoted. You know, we are talking in a very, very isolation.
See, American context, American
It's
context,
okay.
they
For
will
them,
have
it's
to
all right.
Deconstruct that and look at the situation. And see, I'll tell you, what is a good farm today? Ecologically sound farm. A farm where they grow grains, they grow pulses, they
Exactly.
grow Navadanya, Baranaj,
We are,
or Panendu
in our
Pankulu,
University
in
of
complementarity with the animal husbandry. If he has got a sheep, goat, cows,
That's
everything,
exactly
that's
that.
a good farm.
Integrated
Why are you
farming
talking about
system.
veganism, which eliminates all this? What about a cow's urine, which you can avoid urea with?
Integrated
How do you
farming
bring in the
system,
factors?
you know, approach should be there, you know. And then I just want to show this also.
This goes against-
before
sorry.
we finish, because I really feel that people should not be very confused. You know, I have brought this book which is published from the National Institute of Nutrition, and it just very simply gives you in what proportions and how much each food has
Can
to
you
be
just hold it like
consumed.
that? Yes.
Yeah, you can just focus on this so that we are not giving some wrong messages, you know. And I think people will get very confused at the end of our discussion. So I don't know whether
It's got all the
visible.
colors in it. You see that?
Yes, what you
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
light
You
See,
notice that?
now,
Right, as
now,
far as the color is
All the
concerned.
Yeah.
colors there.
Each color today
just
we
a
are talking
second.
about-
I would
yeah.
just like to explain
Yes,
it.
just hold it straight. Yes.
Yeah, this is the grains. These are the grains, okay, and these are the vegetables, and these are to be eaten liberally and adequately, and this is supposed to be eaten in moderation. In this group, we have the oils and the meat products, and here at the bottom is milk. You can see one glass of milk right over here. That means milk is a very important part of a diet, and then later on, what should not be consumed in excess are the processed foods. Now, many of the processed foods also could be from the vegetarian origin.
Now, on what report is this based?
This is a manual which is published by the National Institute of Nutrition, which is apex institution in the field of nutrition, from which is coming under the Indian Council of Medical Research, which is the government of India. That means whatever is written in this book is what the government of India is promoting, and it is absolutely science based.
Well, Yogi ji, now in the Indian context, does it really make sense for a person to go vegan? Because I know many of my friends who have actually gone vegan 2-3 months, 3-4 months, and then finally off it because they really can't do without milk or all that. That is okay, willpower, like you were stating, but many of them have also fallen sick. So does it really make sense in the Indian context to go vegan? Because being a vegetarian is the best thing. That's what many people believe.
You see, in the Indian context, what you must understand, we ape a lot of things from the West. And
They've
if you,
always been
and if
doing
you will
that,
see,
yes.
we've always been doing that. And if you see that, after every 2 years, even the medicines change for a problem.
Correct.
Forget about diet. Even the medicines which they are giving, even those medicines change. Because then they say, no, this is not good enough. This creates these kind of side effects. We've done
Aspirin
studies now.
especially, one research was saying it was good, another
Yeah.
research said it's
little
bad.
later, they'll have the statistics. They'll say, no, this was not good. Now have this. You see, what you must understand, the West functions on the philosophy of innovation. We function on the philosophy of invention. You understand that? One who invents is the one who's put in the most labor. One who innovates just does some kind of a joke. Okay, now little bit here, little bit here. Now West is disputing all the theories, including the Darwin was suggested here. Even Darwin is being disputed now. They're disputing all kind of theories. It just doesn't make sense because now for these kind of reasons. Because obviously post Darwin, if you get a lot of new researches out, then you will refute that now. Nowhere in the Western schools they are teaching Darwin now. So now what is happening, what we must understand, Indian context when we talk about. Indian context. What is the Indian context? Indian context is nature. That's what we're all about. Just go with the nature. I just recommend you what you do. You know, when you go as per nature. You see, you need basically greens for cleansing. Have something which is light green. Don't eat, like don't have juices or vegetables. It's not good because the vegetables are grown in mostly toxic environments. They have a lot of bacteria and viruses inside them. Dangerous ones. So you don't have those kind of juices. Light heating, steaming is very good for the vegetables. That will clean your system. You need some energy. Have some cow ghee, maybe 2 spoons, the lady was recommending, maybe 2 spoons or 3 spoons in one day. Have a banana, takes care of yellow and white both.
So what you're saying is, while vegetarianism is just good, it's moderate, vegan is sort of extreme form of...
You see, it won't work for more than another 6 months to 1 year. They'll forget about it.
And the same
Shalini, as a
make sense.
nutritionist, what do you have to say about this? Do you think veganism is the extreme form of being a normal veg person?
It is an extreme form, unless you look at it, how I look at it is meals are divided into plates. So just the way the doctor explained, 1/4 of your plate we need cereals, 1/4 is for proteins. Now if you're a vegan, your proteins will come from your beans, and if you're a non-vegetarian, your proteins will come from your meat. But having said that, it's small quantities, yeah. And on the other half of your plate, you have all your vegetables and all the colors like he's saying.
Okay.
Twice a day you have fruit, you have a vitamin C based fruit and some other fruit to give you all your other vitamins, and you have good fat. So it could be ghee or it could be a vegetable based oil, whatever you think might
So you're
suit
actually
you,
saying
suit
being
you
a
best.
normal vegetarian suffices. You
It's
don't
fine,
have to become
yes.
vegan.
And if you're vegan, be cautious because there's no milk, right? This one has a glass of milk outside, just like she explained, and Indians have grown up with milk in their diet.
Yes.
So either replace that calcium with another source or with a supplement and replace the B12, otherwise it won't work.
Now, in what we showed you, the scientists have actually come out stating that being vegan or going vegan has actually helped them. It's actually helping in curing these chronic diseases.
Yes.
So, in the context of President Clinton, if he had gone become a vegetarian, would that have actually been more good, and would it have brought the same results?
I think pretty much the same results if you ask me.
Same results.
Yes, yes.
What do you?
See, we need to also look at, let's say, as a vegan, I have been eating cauliflower. What is important is not that the cauliflower, what kind of pesticides have been used, what kind of farm practices, whether it is loaded with, let's say cow's milk is very good, okay. If the same cow's milk is let down with using oxytocin,
Yes, if it's with oxytocin,
or
it defeats the
using
purpose.
hormone trenbolone acetate,
Yes.
which will make you put on weight 20% every day.
Then you're not going to touch.
Then what's the question of, so you need to look at, even in, see, all this truth, in philosophy there's what is the opposite of truth? There's an absolute truth. So we need to look at all this. You see, say cow's milk is good, but 60% of Indian milk comes from buffaloes. What's our attitude towards buffaloes? And then, okay, if you say cow's milk, even there is a simple question, it's a psychological question. See, on the day one, if the calf is male, it is sold to butcher's house, slaughterhouse. Okay?
Yes,
If the calf doesn't exist with the cow, is the cow's milk quality same? Is there no hormonal change in the cow? The entire Indian milk comes from 2 European cows, HF and Jersey. We don't have our Indian breeds here today.
Yeah, very well said.
Depth of diversity.
Exactly.
Depth of diversity.
Changes
We had
in sense.
all kinds of breeds, powerful breeds. What milk are we talking about? Milk of these cows, which is a milk machines. So we need to also look at, we say milk, holy milk, fine, very good. I also believe in all that. But we need to deconstruct this and look at contextually where do we stand. And as far as milk is concerned, see, we need to also see, Japanese and Chinese can't digest milk. Indians as culture, with the Aryan civilization and all that, we have, they say the Vedas, I understand the very word Gai, the Gau, has got so many connotations, even the Gochara, everything. So Indians, see what happens, actually all mammals are cannot digest milk after weaning.
Indians can.
No, Indians can.
Okay,
because
Chinese and Japanese cannot.
Because of our long exposure and acclimatization to milk, and there is a genetic expression today, lactase milk, lactase enzyme is expressed in
you
the
also
adulthood,
stated that Chinese and Japanese
in the Nordic people and in the Indian people. Because we have been a cattle rearers.
All right, now
We
Chinese,
have been the very word capital comes from cattle.
Even in India, the South Indians and some of the North Indians also, especially even the Northeast Indians, they cannot digest milk after a certain age, but they all, especially in the South, there's a very heavy dependency on curd and buttermilk because the lactose gets converted to lactic acid. So that can be digested by the people. So they have found a way of digesting it by removing the lactose, which they may be intolerant to. So it is not that in India that lactase deficiency does not exist.
Because places like Punjab, Haryana and all drink
Not
milk.
China and Japan.
But the thing is, this lactase enzyme continues to be secreted if there is no stopping of drinking milk once the child is weaned. So from mother's milk, when the child is weaned to the cow's milk, and there's a continuous use of cow's milk, then the lactase insufficiency will not happen. So the person will be able to digest. So that is why in India we don't find that. In China and Japan, because they stop giving any kind of milk, therefore they have that.
All right, no,
it's years of adaptation.
Exactly.
All right, now let's talk,
I thought
keeping that
years of
point there in
adaptation.
mind.
Yes.
So being vegan or turning vegan for them will be very easy because
See,
anyhow they
That's
can't
why you need
digest
to
milk
look at the
Eat a lot of
context.
meat.
See, truth is all. See, there is
No, it won't
there's
be
no
easy for them.
whole truth.
because they don't drink milk anyhow.
No, but they eat a lot of meat, no?
No, the European
won't be
people
easy
were
for
basically
them.
Nordic race. You look at Denmark, which produces 80 million tons of milk. Second largest in the world. They are milk drinking countries.
Because-
Milk, cheese, all this is a part of the European culture.
But they also have a very high incidence of atherosclerosis.
No, but
there.
see, again, what do you say? When you talk about
And
milk,
cholesterol.
quality of milk being bad, in the context of what? In the context of intensive farming, factory farming, what is it being fed with? Are the hormones given? Or the milk letdown happening with oxytocin? Then how do you consider the milk quality?
You want to add in?
No, nothing. You see, all I'm saying is it's too much information. It's too much information packed into very short space of time. I don't think people will understand what he's trying to say. It's too much information. No, let's stick to what the facts are of the diet. Let's stick to that. Let's not go to races and the various kinds of cheeses and the meat. You see, when you make cheese, you basically put cow's intestines in that. That doesn't mean anyway vegetarian. Cheese is never vegetarian also.
Intestines are not directly added.
Yes, they are added. Yes,
But
yes,
even
yes,
as milk is not
yes, they are added.
But
Yes, they are
now,
added.
nowadays,
Yes, they are added.
no, nowadays it
Yes,
is
sir,
bio.
it's
No,
culture.
no. Biotechnologically,
Yeah.
you can get the rennet, which is
No,
not
they
of animal origin.
They say, but it hardly, it's only mozzarella, that's all. In all other cheeses, they put calf rennet in that.
But
cow rennet.
anyway, let us not just go into the
All right.
cheese and
Now-
milk and all that.
Shalini, let's start with you once more. Let's talk about going vegan in India because we did speak about here. We spoke about how Japanese and Chinese is not possible for them to actually digest milk that easily. Whereas for India, especially places like Punjab and Haryana, they actually have one full glass of milk before they go to sleep. This is what we're told. And there's no problem. Now, President Clinton, or former President Clinton, he stopped this because he was a non-vegetarian earlier.
Yes.
Now in India, keeping in mind that we actually eat, even non-vegetarians have a lot of veg. Will it be easy for them if they actually have to go in for or to become a vegan or turn vegan?
yeah.
How easy
Yeah.
is it for us here and when compared to them?
Yes. I don't see why they should go vegan, and B, if they've taken that stand, it's not going to be very easy, like we discussed, right? So you'll do it, but the repercussions don't make too much sense. Of course, if you're going to turn vegan for an ethical reason, definitely I would stand by it. You're against polluting the environment. You're against those factors. Then, like I said, substitute it. Bring your
You
calcium
do
in.
need substitutes,
Yes,
come what
you
may.
need it. You bring your calcium in from another source. Bring your B12 in.
So it
and-
actually
and then
makes
you're
no
fine.
sense because ultimately
Otherwise,
you're going
where
vegan over here
our-
and you're trying and by
yes,
getting supplements. And again, you don't know about the
absolutely.
supplements, how they're made
Where
because
they-
you're
where
not
they-
directly there.
And
So
otherwise, if
you
we just look at our idli and our sambar,
Mhm.
a pot of curd, a fruit by the side, we're pretty much
It
done.
has everything there,
right?
fruits.
And you want to add a piece of non-vegetarian food, that's fine too. Yeah?
So,
but
Yogi
this
ji,
is pretty
Sensible
much, it
point.
covers everything.
yeah, so going
Covers
vegan for
everything.
Indians really does not make sense.
No, going vegan as a matter of fact, any culture doesn't make sense because it's going against nature. You are doing things which are against nature. Because when you say you are growing food, you kill so many insects when you are growing food, and that is also then you are eating those insects, no? So there's no such thing as a vegetarian. and there is no such thing further away as a vegan. No question at all. Because you have to kill to grow. That soil when you will sow, you'll have to kill so many insects there. So because I am an agriculturist, I know when we do that, how carefully we have to do it. So there is no such thing as a vegan. Because those things come in as a fertilizer inside, their qualities, the traits. You see, we are very scientific, because that's Vedic science. Because the trait, the insects which you kill, their traits are going to come inside that food which you are growing. Even if a gobi you are growing and you kill so many insects in that, it's going to be absorbed.
So you say that going vegetarian is the best option.
There is no such thing as a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian. Ayurveda does not recognize vegetarian, non-vegetarian. Ayurveda says, as per your body constitution, you have to eat whatever is best recommended for you.
So basically, if the doctors, or like you said, your genes, based on that, and non-veg is the best
She gave a perfect diet just now. No, what she said, it covers all aspects. So sambar covers all aspects. Idli, sambar, and
no. So if you're talking about non-vegetarian and non-vegetarian actually suits you, then that could be the best
if it suits
aspects.
you, but you have to eat very less and no red meat. Maybe white meat, but that was very less. Like she said, one piece. You just eat one piece, small piece. That's
so
it.
there's nothing wrong in actually eating non-veg.
You see, you are eating non-veg, you're polluting the environment. Ethically, it is considered wrong. There is no doubt about that. But if it is a question of your health, and you're going to fall sick if you're not going to eat it, what I'm saying is what your body requirements. I'm coming to the same thing what you were saying, the body requirements, the genetic code. What is your lineage? If you're going to fall sick, you see, I get mails from all over the world.
Okay.
And especially Westerners, you know what they write? Suddenly after doing yoga, we are having